Good evening, everybody. Hopefully we have clicked the right buttons once again this evening, and we are joining you live right here on the Creative Expressions Facebook page. It is, of course, time for our Monday night natter. And tonight, like all Monday nights, is just a sheer pleasure to be here with you. Tonight we're going to be having a little look at the Scrap Boys paper pads, and we're going to be taking a little look at the canvas collection and trying to give you a little bit more inspiration, because I know you will have seen it on last week's live, and of course if you tuned into the shows yesterday on Hobby Maker you will have seen a little bit more from this collection. But actually it's always nice to kind of get into the nitty gritty and share a bit more inspiration with you on our live. Now you've seen it, now you've ordered it, maybe you've got it en route, then it's a nice time to actually really try and answer your questions and show you a bit more from this. So if you are joining us this evening, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us your time, your evening, your attention while we kind of play and hopefully inspire you. But most importantly, while you are here with us and we're saying good evening to you, can you let us know that you can see us and that you can hear us okay? We tell you this every week, but it's always tricky to know if we're coming across loud and clear to wherever you may be in the world. Now, speaking of where you are, we'd love to know, where are you? Where are you watching from? We was having a little conversation when we was getting ready for this, and I'd seen that one of our lovely regulars who joins us most weeks was saying how she was looking forward to seeing us, our lovely Charlene from the Paper and Ink Boutique in Canada, in Calgary. And I said to Pete how lovely it is to think actually people around the world are waiting for us to go live. How sweet is that to think that there's people everywhere kind of going, oh, we'll soon be live and we can join in for our Monday night natter. So not in a big-headed way, but in a nosy kind of way, where are you watching from? Where are you? Are you just down the road, or are you the other side of the planet? We want to know. So, okay, check in that we can hear and see you, okay, and then we better say good evening to our dear Peter, who is, as always, sat in, well, the corner.
The corner.
Being naughty. It's been naughty. Had him running around literally seconds ago. So he had to go to the other side of the building to get me a card so I can share with you this evening. So we'll give him a minute to calm down and get his breath back, because it does look like I've tried to kill him. So let's have a little look. Good evening, Linda. Lovely to have you with us, Linda. Hope you're well. Good evening, Samantha, Rosie, Mary, Yvonne, Hadrian's Hobbies. Lovely to have you here, Hadrian's Hobbies. We'll chat more stockist not news in a moment, but lovely to have you here. Good evening, May. Good evening, Deborah. Oh, Deborah, stay put. Don't you go anywhere. Don't even go put the kettle on. We'll come back to you in a minute. Good evening, Charlene. Lovely that you are here with us. Good evening, Denise, Kathleen. Linda says she keeps forgetting you, Pete.
I know. I just read that.
I've tried for 15 years, but however far I try to escape, he finds me. He does. He finds me.
I think you find me.
I don't know. I feel more like the kept than the keeper, but nevertheless, not a problem. Good evening, Julia. Lovely to have you with us too. Another one of our gorgeous stockists joining us. I've got your name on a piece of paper here to read out shortly. Lovely to have you here this evening. Good evening, Lynn, Alison, May. Oh goodness, there's loads of you. Oh, and our lovely Gwen's with us. I had a bit of a surprise visit from Gwen yesterday. There we was in the Hobby Maker studios getting ready. Went for our little pre-production meeting, wandered back to the green room, and who should be sat there chatting to Sharon? Only our lovely Gwen. She was popping by on her way back from Sandown, and it was a nice little surprise to see her, wasn't it?
It
completely unpredicted.
I wondered why she rung me, and she wanted me to
buzz
her in the front door.
He did. We was in a meeting.
We were in a meeting.
So it wasn't as bad as it sounds, but he did ignore her. Anyway, we've mentioned him. We've told you that he's recovering. We've given him a bit of attention, so we better say good evening, hadn't we? We better make sure that he feels the love from the room and say good evening to our dear Pete.
Evening, everyone. Welcome to your Monday night natter. I was going to call it madness, whatever.
There's no madness here. This is perfectly sane shenanigans. I don't know what you're on about.
Okay. Hope you're okay. I see Rosie's got a coffee on the go.
What coffee?
Coffee sounds good. I didn't get the kettle on. Didn't have time. Too busy running round being, Debbie.
You'd do very well on like these American Idol shows where they go for the sympathy vote. You'd do well with that, wouldn't you? You would do well. Okay, come on then. Let's bring it back.
Thank you for joining us.
Got some good news to share with you all. So, of course, we are now moving into March, which means our competition for February has now closed. If you missed it, do not fear. We will chat later on about the brand new competition that is now in place for you to win £75 worth of Creative Expressions goodies. But before we move on to March's excitement, we of course need to clear up who is our winner for February. Now, if I haven't given it away already, we would like to congratulate the wonderfully super talented Deborah Wollenscroft. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, Deborah. If I haven't, I'm sorry. But you are this month's winner, or February's winner technically, for our competition, which of course was the Woodware kind of brand focus that was over on our Creative Expressions official Facebook page. As I say, later on, I've got to be reminded, so don't let me forget, because it's highly likely, but we will chat about what the brand new competition is for March. So if you didn't win this one, do not fear. Deborah, if you are still with us and you have stopped dancing around the room in celebratory style, then please could you pop us an email over telling us where you'd like your goodie bag sent, and we'll get that posted out to you right away. I'm going to let Pete tell you the email address, because if I tell you it, I'll get it confused and then we'll end up here for 15 minutes and 15 versions. So come on, Pete, chime on in. What is the email address we're going to use?
So if you pop us an email to jamierodgerscrafts@hotmail.com, we'll get your goodies sent out for you.
He does that like really well. And if you're worried about me, I can't do email addresses, phone numbers, but I can tell you when I was 12, I lived at CM75RF. Why do we know these things? How do I know a postcode from nearly 30 years ago, but I can't remember my email address from today? What is that about? There is damage up here, I'm telling you. Okay, enough about me and my problems. Let's have a little look at what we're chatting about this evening. So we are very, very excited to announce, in case you've missed it, where have you been, that we are now a distributor, the official UK distributor for the wonderful Scrap Boys paper collection. If you've not heard of Scrap Boys before and you've not seen these, do not fear, we're going to go through them very quickly. We're going to tell you where you can get your hands on them from some of our amazing stockists, because they've been on TV. They was on TV yesterday, but there is very, very few left available, if any, of some of these collections. You fell in love with them as much as we have, and they have flown off the shelves quite literally. So it was now kind of finding where you're going to be able to get hold of them and hunting them down at your stockists. There will be more collections, there will be future releases from them, but the current ones we have, there is no plans to bring more stock over. So a little bit of company history about Scrap Boys, if they are new to you and you don't know about them. They're an amazing company, and I kind of waffled about this on air yesterday. It kind of might seem strange to you. You're used to us bringing you brands, bringing our own creations. Of course, we've got Woodware, we've got Crafty Concoctions, we've got Jamie Rodgers Crafts. We do quite a lot under the Creative Expressions name, and you're used to seeing us do all of these different product ranges. And we can do paper pads. We've done paper pads. We do paper pads. But there is a reason to why we've gone, actually, do you know what, we're going to bring you Scrap Boys instead. Because I love the way they work, I love them as a company, I love the way they bring you so much inspiration, and I love the way that they design their products. And do you know what, sometimes you have to go, we can't do that as well as they're doing that. So instead of trying to copy that or do our own version and not bring you the same level at the same price, instead, let's just ask them if we can bring you theirs. Because they're based in Poland, you're not necessarily going to be able to easily find them and get hold of them. So we might as well bring them over and let you have easy access to them. So of course, this means that we've already given them access to our stockists. So lots of our stockists have them en route or already in the building. And of course, we took them onto our shows on Hobby Maker. So before we start looking through them, let's give you that list just in case you're already eager and you want to go get ordering. So you're going to be able to find them at Into Craft. You're going to get them from Cheshire Crafts, Julia Watts Crafts, who of course is with us this evening, Affordable Crafting, Gilly's Crafts and Craft Mania. And a little bit of stock on some of them is still available at Hobby Maker as well. So as a company, I said I was going to tell you a little bit about the company history, and I know I went off on a tangent and we never got there, so just quickly. They've been going about 6.5 years. They're a lovely couple, Maurice and Matisse. They are really, really just adorable, and we love working with them, and we get on like a house on fire, don't we? They're so wonderful to actually kind of communicate with, and they've been very quick in working with us and making these products available here for us so fast, which is something we're really, really grateful for too. And one of the bits I love with their products, and I'm going to start showing you this collection, this is the Sweet Peonies collection, is the way they cram so much in. And I know we've chatted about this a lot on the shows, and we chatted about it on last week's live as well. But even the covers to the booklets are all printed with pictures that you can cut out, and you can use, I believe, your scan and cut with these as well, because they've got a black line running around them, so you can cut out elements to correspond with the designs found throughout the pads. In this one you receive 24 different sheets. Oh, not different sheets, sorry, that's a lie. You're going to receive 24 double-sided sheets. There are 12 designs and there are 2 of each sheet. So especially with the 6x6 one, that's great because it means that you are getting 2 of each sheet, giving you the ability to, of course, do double the amount from one pad, or possibly go bigger and bolder in your creations, whatever you may choose. Now, throughout the pads, you're going to find lots of imagery that works as double page spreads, if that's how you'd like to work with them. Or, of course, you've got sheets like this where they're perfect to go in and cut out elements and build them up. You'll find tags, you'll find banners, you'll find little windows, you'll find cameos, you'll find all different sorts of pieces that are going to come in time after time. The back page, a bit like the front pages of the booklets, again have elements put on them, and where possible on the back and the front they've actually printed them going in opposite directions. Not the best example to share this one with you. You might see it more on the book at the bottom here, but you can of course then pick which direction you would like that to be in. In some of the pads you've got people and ships and lighthouses and bits like that here, and it just gives you that option to pick which way around you'd like them to go. As you can see, loads of beautiful imagery, beautiful colours, and everything corresponding from front to back. Now, I'm going to be honest, I forgot to put my post-its out, Peter, so you're going to have to help me here. Prices, what are they? Put you on the spot as well. Just seeing a look of fear appearing on his face. Is he going to bring this up from the archives? Any prices?
Has he switched the camera?
I haven't switched the camera. I saved you the face.
Eyeballs.
You give me prices while we flick through the 8x8.
Absolutely. So the 8x8, which Jamie's showing you, is $9.99 RRP. The 6x6 are down to $7.99, and the 12x12s are $14.99 recommended.
So $14.99, $9.99, $7.99. I'm going to try my best to remember that. Let's see how well I do. And these, of course, when we chat prices, we are talking recommended retail prices, as stockists are, of course, allowed to play around with that a little bit. So do have a look around. This is what we always recommend. And maybe, and I'm not saying that it is always the case, but maybe your recommended might be where they are. They might be slightly higher, but potentially maybe your postage might be cheaper on some places. So have a little look around. We always encourage you to shop wisely. We always want you to get the best value for money you can and the best goodies that we can bring you. The 12x12 pad, again 12 sheets, all double-sided, and as we can see, the imagery increases in size throughout the pads. So if we was to find, just quickly, and I won't do this with every pad this evening because I know I've kind of chatted about it previously, but to me this is one of the bits I love about these pads and why I love bringing you them in different sizes. You have got that same imagery working through in all 3 sizes. So when you come to actually working out what you're going to be doing with these, having those 3 sizes means you've got lots more options. It opens up all of the different size cards you could be working with, all of the different places you could be using them within your pages, the different size canvas ties we're going to be talking about shortly. Of course, it takes you right the way through from card making all the way through to scrapbooking, home decor. The choice really is yours. The imagery, the styles, the direction that you can go in with these is endless. Another thing I like to mention is with the tags. When you turn over the tags, you will find that they are printed with kind of blank areas on the reverse for you to be able to write in and add on your journaling, or maybe choose to use that side if you prefer. A lot of companies, when they print tags, on the reverse of them you'll find a pattern or something else, and then you've got to try and match up or write over that pattern. Scrap Boys have thought about that. They've given you the areas for you to be able to write on. Even these little tabs across the top, they are pretty empty on the reverse there for you to be able to add in some details, and you'll find that again running through all of the different sizes, so it doesn't matter which one you go to, it can all correspond. And if you are into journaling, you are into scrapbooking, you do like making your little booklets, then having the matching tags running through in the different sizes can be really handy as well, because it gives you that continuation, that flow that's going to run through your projects, knowing everything matches. And if you're new to card making, scrapbooking, journaling, whatever it may be, knowing that every single page, it doesn't matter where you go within this booklet, every single shade, every single picture, every single element, all works together, it all layers beautifully. So if you're somebody who struggles with composition, colours, styles, knowing what to put together, basically, you don't have to fear. These have done all of the hard work for you. You can simply pick the pages you like and pop them together. Now, on the shows, we were talking about Sweet Peonies. We also brought to you Flowers Melody, and this is one that completely sold out in bundle form. We'll go for the 8x8 because I think you get to see that slightly better on the screen. The 8x8 ones, again, 12 sheets in these. So 12 in the 12x12, 12 in the 8x8, and 24 in the 6x6. All double-sided, all printed on 250 GSM. So when we talk about 250, we're talking quite a thickness, like card thickness really. So when it comes to playing with the canvases and doing booklets with them, even fancy folds with them, if that's what you'd like to do, they've got real body to stand up to what you want to do with them. They're also uncoated, so if you'd like to stamp on the top of them, stencil on the top of them, blend around them, then there is no problem there either. They are open to all of them techniques and products that can be worked with them too. So that was Flowers Melody. Now, as I mentioned, that one did literally completely sell out on Hobby Maker. So you are going back to your stockists. If the stockists are with us this evening, by the way, please don't forget to drop us a link in the comments showing us where we can get hold of these items. You know that we don't sell direct here at Creative Expressions. If you head onto our website, you will see the pictures of the pads that are available. You will see the inspiration. You will then see a stockist list that tells you where you can buy them, but you will not be able to buy them through the Creative Expressions website. So to save you heading off to that website, if we've got stockists here with us this evening that are carrying these, please don't hesitate to pop a link in. Whether that is a link to your website, whether that is telling us about the next stand or stall you're going to be doing up and down the country, whether that is telling us about your bricks and mortar store, or maybe you're a retailer that does all of the above. And if you are, tell us everything, tell us all. Put it in one comment for us with as much information as you can share, because do you know what? There probably is a viewer or two watching this evening that may not yet have heard of you. And if we can join you together like a crafty matchmaker, that's our happy day. So that...
I think that's a badge I'm going to give you.
Is it?
The crafty matchmaker.
Crafty matchmaker. Well, I genuinely think that's one of our most important roles, is making sure that our customers and our stockists find each other. Because if there's no point bringing you the product and inspiring you if we haven't got the stockists to link you up to, so you can get hold of them if you would like to. This, of course, is the Old Mariner. Have I pronounced that right? We yo-yo through this every time, but we're going to go with that. So this one again, as you can see, 12x12, 8x8 and 6x6. And again, just like before, 12 pages, and 24 in the 6x6. This one's my personal favourite, if I'm allowed favourites. I absolutely adore this collection. I think it's the blues. You know I like my blues and whites. I love my vintage effects. And I am always here for a little bit of nautical, living by the sea. To me, this is always one that's going to resonate mostly with me. But of course, there is a fourth collection to tease you with. So let's bring that one in as well. And this one, of course, is the Lavender Love collection. And once again, we'll look through the 8x8 set of this one, because I just find them easier to flick through, if I'm being honest. So once again, on the inside of the covers, you will find all of them pieces to cut out. As we flick through the pages, you will see, once again, everything coordinates, everything works together. And to be quite honest, everything is really, really beautiful. The attention to detail within the artwork that they have put in is just mind-boggling. To see every single piece work together beautifully, even down to like having the little numbers across the bottom here. No area is wasted, and just like on some of the other pads, you'll notice on one side we've got a kind of lilacs and purples coming through in the tabs here for the numbers. When we flip that over, we've got navies and kind of a bluey shade going on, giving you the ability to pick what you want them numbers to match. So instead of just giving you one colour scheme and going, oh, we're going to give you purples because that'll match that paper nicely, actually giving you the blues means that you might wish to tie them in more with the skies that are running through in some of the field shots instead. And I just think it's that kind of attention to detail, which is why I truly feel Scrap Boys is one of the leading paper brands, or certainly should be one of the leading paper brands, and one of the leading paper brands that I like to personally work with. Again, on the reverse, more elements for you to be able to go in and cut out. And then just like before when we was talking about these are your double-sided elements. So you can pick which way you would like that bride and groom to be facing. And I think that's really handy. And not only is it about which way do you want them to be facing, it might be that you're going to create an aperture card, and in that aperture you want to pop that couple, but you don't want to put something behind it. When they open the card, they don't want to see the back of a random paper, do they? They want to see another lovely printed picture of that couple, the other side to them. And that, of course, is what Scrap Boys have thought of, planned out and brought to us in those images in them pads. So once again then, quick recap of prices. We were looking $7.99 for the 6x6, $9.99 for the 8x8, and $14.99 for the 12x12. And stockist wise, you will find these at Into Craft, Cheshire Crafts, Julia Watts Crafts, Affordable Crafting, Gilly's Crafts, Craft Mania, and of course Hobby Maker as well. Now these are the ones that we featured on TV. There are a few more collections. I'm not going to tease you with them this evening, but go look at the stockists, because lots of the stockists didn't just go for these, didn't just go for the ones we were taking on air. They went for a beautiful Christmas collection. They went for the beautiful Vintage Elegance collection. They went for the Rusty paper pack. The Rusty paper pack is perfect if you are doing men's cards, kind of really cool grunginess. That's a really lovely 12x12 pack. And there's a few others as well, isn't there? There's Paul Attic. There's a few different collections. So go check them out. Go and be inspired and see what they can see. And if you're thinking, well, why is he not bringing us those? Why is he not telling us more about those now? Well, maybe you're just going to have to wait and see when they appear on shows, because I have a feeling after the success of yesterday, you'll be seeing a lot more Scrap Boys papers coming to our shows in the near future. So don't wait too long, and get in advance if you want to, and check out what's available at the stockists already, because I know that they have some before we've even thought of putting them on the shows. So you can really follow the trend or create the trend. Be the trendsetter, if you will. Now, one other thing I wanted to give you a little flash of is, of course, our foundations cardstock. Now, these again are colours that were available on the shows yesterday, and I picked these to coordinate perfectly throughout the collections. So, for instance, you will see the Purple Emperor here that matches, in my opinion, the Lavender Love. You'll see the Iris towards the bottom here, which again I felt matched really nicely within that set. You have then got the Ceramic Blue, the Dark Denim. This is one of my favourites. This is Lake Blue. Isn't that gorgeous? And of course Coconut White. And I've actually gone for the thicker versions of the cards. So the Coconut White one I'm highlighting this evening is 315. Purple Emperor is 300 GSM. Lake Blue is 300 GSM. Dark Denim is one of the thinner ones at 240. Ceramic Blue is 300. And Iris is one of the lower ones at 220. But it gives you an overview there of some of the shades I felt perfectly coordinated within those pads. Now, foundations is a range that we currently have at Creative Expressions, which we are building at a rapid rate, and we're heading for 100 different colours and options within that product range. So you might look at them through different eyes and see different shades that you would prefer to coordinate with those pads. But to me, those were the perfect ones to work with them, which is why we hooked them out and put them on the shows for you. Something else that we featured on the shows, and do you know, I'm kind of surprised. I want to say I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked. Something else that did incredibly well is our canvas dies. Now, these little beauties have been out now for about 6 or 7 years, and you always think the world's seen something if it's been out for that long. But yesterday certainly proved you hadn't seen them, didn't it? If you watch the shows, you know what I mean. The little ones sold out. They went on to extended dispatch. They sold out. They went back on to extended dispatch. And we are now still working through getting hold of more of them for you. But I bring you them this evening because you can still order them on Hobby Maker on extended dispatch for the 25th of March, 24th of March, something along them lines. But of course, they've been out a while. So this might mean that they're already at our stockists. So you might wish to go and check out the stockists too. Then, of course, we brought you our large canvases, and I'll take you through these in just a second. These two sold out, and I think we put them onto extended as well, and they sold out of that as well, maybe. Or did they add more? I don't know. But they went out and they come back, and then they went out again. But either way, they're out. They're gone. There is no more available at Hobby Maker. So you are going to have to check out your stockists for those. Now, again, you can, of course, check out the stockists that I keep reading out to you. And I know some of those guys did order canvases in to work with this collection. But as I said, these have been out a long time, so you might want to have a little look around and see which other stockists have them as well. Now, if you're thinking, I have no idea what he's on about with a canvas die, I've never heard of these, where have I been? Do not fear. As I say, they've been out a little while, but that doesn't mean we always bring them back or we always talk about them. And we should, and we can, and we absolutely should be. But you know, there's been a lot of changes in my personal career, and of course with the Creative Expressions world when we acquired it and brought it into our world, and just because of that, time's kind of got in the way. But now we're back and we're on track, and we've got the ability to bring you fresh inspiration with these, which is exactly what we are doing. So this is the very first die I designed, the very first die ever, anywhere. So this is CED JR001, and it is my square canvas die. Now, a canvas die basically means that as it cuts, it's going to score for you, and it's going to create this little ability to turn these into boxes. So everything is done for you. You simply just burnish and fold across where they are and glue them together and build them up. But not only do you get the box ability from them, you also receive the aperture dies or the layering dies that can either go on top of that box if you wish to, or cut that open and create a frame with it instead. Now, I've not lined my samples up in any particular order this evening, so I'm just going to bring in a couple of random ones as we go through these to just give you some ideas of what I'm on about and why. This is the small square. We'll get onto the large square in a moment. Here you can see I've chose to use those layering dies to layer up on top of it. Here you can see I've just gone for the canvas as it is. This is actually the large square. Excuse me. This is the large square, but I've printed a photograph off and I've wrapped that round. And this is why we love canvases, because that picture wraps all the way round. There's no foam pads, there's no messiness, everything coordinates. It gives your image, it gives your focal point a luxury feel. Now, whether this is something that you're going to print off, whether it's a paper that you're going to cut into, whether it's something that you're going to stamp, whether you're going to cut your boxes and then put them through an embossing folder, stencil on them, ink on them, use your favourite backgrounds, whether you're going to cut them open and put frames and bits inside them, whether you're going to turn them into shaker boxes. These are all options. They're all options that you can choose what you do with them. These are literally a blank canvas for you to do as you feel fit. Whether that is cutting them open or building up, the choice truly is yours. We'll look through more samples later, I promise. But this is just a quick overview of what the canvases are. So not only did we do the square, we did the rectangle as well. These are, of course, all of the small ones. That was CED JR002. 003 is the panel die, giving you that long drawn panel instead. 04 is, of course, our hexagon. 05 is our octagon, this lovely elongated octagon. That's beautiful when built. Number 6 is our diamond. And number 7 is our triangle. Now, the triangle and the diamond are only available in the smaller sizes. They do not appear in the larger ones as yet. One day we may change that, but currently it is only available in small. Now, I'm going to go out here on a limb. I think the recommended retail prices for these are, oh, I'm getting the look of panic from the left.
100 Mary's going. I think you're,
$9.99?
Oh no.
Oh no.
$10.99.
$10.99. I tried, Peter. I tried.
Did well.
I'm not good with my memory. Okay, so then moving on to the larger ones. This one is CDJR008. Yeah, it is an 8. I'm blind as well as forgetful. Number 8, and this one again is, we're going back to the squares, but we've gone up to the larger square format. So you can see the increase in size from where we were with the small up now to the large. There is quite a significant difference, so that you can build them up and create with them if you wish to, together or of course independently. With these ones we had room in them, so we can give you little words too. I didn't want to double up on the squares because you've already got the next size down squares in with a small canvas. So instead we bought you words to complement the designs in my mind. So with this one we have bought you love. With our next one, we have got the large rectangle, which is number 9. And with this one, we brought you the word family. Then we move on to the large panel, which is number 10. And with this one, we have the word memories. Number 11 is our large octagon, and it comes with the word cherish. And number 12 is our large hexagon, and that one comes with the word dream. Now, come on then, Peter. Put me out of my misery. Recommended retail price for these, $15.99? $14.99. I was down a pound, I'm up a pound. I'm good at this tonight. I'm good. If this was the Price is Right, I'm never going to win. So that is, of course, an overview of our canvases. Now, you might be wondering, Why is he showing us random canvases and random paper pads, and how do they all work together? Do not fear. We have you covered. Shall we show you a few examples? Now, I know you've seen some of these, so I'll do it quickly just in case you have already watched all of this and kind of thinking, well, will he ever do anything else? I will. We'll do some demos in a moment, I promise. But here is a little overview of how our lovely papers come hand in hand and work perfectly with those canvases to give you completely different three-dimensional looks. Now, of course, you don't have to build the canvases if you don't want to. You don't have to cut the papers with the canvases if you don't want to, but if you do, to me, you just add that beautiful dimension and design, and having your image run all the way around them is a really fun and classy look, in my opinion. But it might not be with these papers. As I said earlier, you might wish to stamp on them, stencil on them. You might even wish to, like this one here, not build them as a full canvas, but cut them literally in half. I've added a little wiggly line across the top of my one, and then I've turned it into a little pocket, and it holds all of those tags that I've been cutting out from in those papers, and they fit perfectly within that pocket. And then not only do they hold the tags, if you look, you'll notice that I've cut the same canvas out of the same sheet, so actually when I come to put it back into place, it matches within that image, so the image continues from the canvas and onto the background page. And then another little idea for you here. This is one of the Crafts 2 books. The book comes ready built. This isn't something clever I've been doing, I'm afraid. I can't lay claim to this. But it does give you the perfect canvas to decorate up with your canvases and with your papers. So on the front here, we have our lovely Captain Birdseye-esque image on a canvas, and then throughout the booklet you will see lots of pages. Now, I keep going on about this and you possibly all think I've lost the plot, but whenever they sell a house, or whenever you sell a house, they always say you should remove all of your family photos from it so people can see how they can move into that house and how they can make it their own. So I've kind of gone about doing my journals, my albums, all of these different things in the same process. I've kind of left them very plain, very empty, so you can see actually this is where I would put my photos from when I went to Tenerife, or when I went out on a cruise, or when I went to Bognor Regis, whatever it may be. I want you to be able to see that you can slot your world into those pages and turn that into the perfect little booklet however you want it to be. So there was just a few there from that collection. Let's move on and I'll show you a few more from our lovely fairy tale collection. This is the perfect peonies one. So if we have a little look through this one, this is one of the cards I actually demonstrated yesterday on Hobby Maker. So you can go back and watch those shows if you've not seen them. They were on at 1 PM and 5 PM, and I was with Nigel for both of them, which was rather lovely. Poor Nigel, he had an 8-hour back-to-back session yesterday of shows. Dave's poor dad's been taken into hospital, so Dave couldn't make his shows in the afternoon. So Nigel, as they do, they're such a lovely family there. He said, don't worry, I'll do it, I'll step in, and actually went all the way through from 1 right the way through till 9. Now, I know that, and I see a comment about this, and I shouldn't really say it in that sense, but I'm going to be honest. I did see a comment yesterday, and somebody said, well, that's just an ordinary working shift. It's only 8 hours. I can tell you now, the way that they do it, there's not, I'm not saying there isn't any jobs, but there's not many jobs that compare an 8-hour shift to 8 hours of live TV. I certainly personally couldn't do it. To welcome so many different guests, so many different products, keep up to date with everything all throughout that live for 8 hours. In my mind, he deserved a medal. Now, of course, there are some much more difficult jobs out there, but in the grand scheme, to me, that kind of impressed me. I was quite blown away with that. 8 hours of keeping up with every thought, every comment, every guest, every price drop, every code. That's some going, all whilst a live audience watches from around the world. That's no easy task. So that was a few bits and pieces from the Sweet Peonies collection. Let's have a look at a couple here from the Lavender Love collection. And I'm going to point this one out to you, because quite often we're all guilty of this, aren't we? We have these offcuts and we're like, do we keep them? Do we bin them? What do we do with the offcuts? And then we reluctantly keep them, thinking one day I'm going to use them, and then 9 out of 10 times, if we're all honest with ourselves, we don't necessarily. And then we feel bad that we've parted with them. This could all just be me, but we feel bad that we've parted with them. We knew that we'd paid for them. We knew that we loved them. We knew they'd have a use, but how? What are we going to do with them? So all I've done is I've taken a self-adhesive sheet, I've laid it down onto a piece of white card, and then I've patchworked all of my pieces back together onto that sheet and then trimmed it down to make the background that I needed. So I've used one panel here from scraps and then one panel for the actual main part of the card with scraps again. And then I've built up my canvas on the front and added on my people throughout and different images. Another idea for you is cutting those diamonds open with the dies that come with them, adding in a little frame, then adding some flowers and butterflies to them. Another one here where I've used the papers and I've actually added in a vellum layer underneath here to just soften that paper and add the little canvas onto the front. Another one of our canvases where I've cut the middle out using the matching dies and then popped our little church image in the centre instead. And then on this one, I've added a little zigzag fold or a Z fold and added the canvas to the front here on our panel and then used some of the images from within that collection to finish that one off too. And then a few bits from Floral Melody. So I'll give you a bit of inspiration with that one too. And then I promise we'll do some demos if we don't have any questions. So here's just a few of the cards that I've been doing. And you might wonder, if we go for both sizes of the canvas, how do they work together? Can they stack? Will they build up? Does that all work out? Of course it does. So here, of course, we've got the two squares being built up together, just to give you a little glimpse at that one. One of my favourites that I did, and I don't often say that about my own work, but it's this one, just using the small panel canvas die and the same paper throughout, but actually just layering it and cutting it in different places. And this was one of them cards that I didn't actually want to add any words to it. I kind of just wanted to put it in a frame and then decorate a room to match it. But as we're into cards, I thought I'd show it in a card format, and I couldn't take you to my dining room if I did that and show it to you in my dining room. So it made a little bit more sense to add the word congratulations on it and show it to you in a card form. But it is kind of, to me, one of them structures, one of them pieces that I could easily pop into a box frame and hang on a wall, and it'd kind of give a bit of an arty vibe to it. And I even really like the way that you get the gaps underneath the ones where they're kind of being suspended across the different panels. And I've stopped at 2 layers, but you could certainly go higher if you wanted to. Or you could, of course, mix and match your shapes, or of course you could do it on a bigger format. I've got some really lovely big box frames from IKEA that actually I think are about like 20 inches by 20 inches. So you could certainly go off and build that up in a much bigger format if that's what you prefer to do. One here with the triangles going down the side, and then another one here with one of my fancy folds going on, and then on the front of it I've used the diamond once again, cut it open and popped in a little perfume bottle, and then used the papers to coordinate throughout all of the different layers. Any questions about any of them little lot before we move on and do some demos?
Yes, there is
what we got?
a few. One, Gwen has...
He's been very good tonight, has he? You know I will waffle for England.
Well,
just shout if you've got a question.
He's known when to interrupt, you see.
Any time is good tonight.
When he's flowing. Kim did ask, Gwen did answer. Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen. See, it's got Gwen's on it.
She is, she's on it. With the square canvas dies, she did ask, does the smallest square on the large set fit on top of the small canvas?
No. It does
in a
not.
word. I think it matches the same top size, doesn't it? Or...
Literally to like, I'll show you, we'll cut them, but I can show you in die form, but it literally kind of matches to the exact size, if that makes sense, because that's then when the next dies pick up from it and you can kind of go down from there, if that makes sense. So yeah, it would, if you really wanted to match it, but it's not going to fit on it as in like give you an edge. Does that help? I'm asking you, you don't know, do you? Does that help? Is that sufficient?
Yvonne, evening Yvonne.
Evening Yvonne.
She loves the papers. She's just seen the lady in Japan on Scrapboy's Facebook.
Oh, have you?
Will you be stocking
nothing about Lady in Japan. Oh, now you're going to directly ask me, so I can't.
Will you be stocking this collection, please, in capital letters?
All I'm going to say, Yvonne, is maybe. Can
I bypass the boss and tell you that yes, it's on order and is en route to us?
Is it en route? Has it left?
It's on its way, so it won't be long. And they're lovely, aren't they? There's two releases.
Oh, is there, Peter?
Anyway,
moving on. Anything else you would like to tell them? Anything else?
Samantha, help me, Samantha.
You're already in trouble, boy.
Oh,
trouble,
the boy.
Boy.
You're in trouble, boy.
That's it. Even more so because I can't find my masking tape.
I'm buying you time here a little bit, maybe. Samantha, hi Samantha. How did you attach the MDF tags together, Jamie, please?
Oh, I can show you that. While Pete goes and gets me some low tuck tape.
Low tuck tape.
There'll be some in that pot. So my 2 MDF tags here. That don't help, does it? You can't really see that. Let's try again. So I've got an MDF tag on the top here and then one on the bottom, and all I've done is taken some A3 card and scored it back and forth to make the little pages, and then I've stuck one page onto this tab and one page onto this tab, and it's as simple as that really. It's not complicated in the kind of mechanism I've done it with. It's just a zigzag, and then you can leave it as that if you want to. You could add in more pages if you prefer. You could do them in a booklet form if you wish to. It really is down to you, but it is just one sheet that I've glued to the back tag and then one onto the front. And if that is a bit vague and I waffle and kind of don't always make sense, I know I don't, you don't have to tell me, I'm fully aware I talk in riddles. Yesterday on air, you will have seen or can see that I made one out of card instead. So I've just, instead of using the tags at the front and the back, I've done the same idea but with cardstock. So again, just cut my card and then I've scored from A3 card, made the little pages to run through it, and then glued them to attach the 2 pieces together. This could be a card if you want it to be a card. It could be a little journal, it could be a brag book, it could be an album, it could be whatever you want it to be really. But again, it just shows how easy it is to kind of take these and turn them into booklet form if you wish to. The MDF tags that have been used to make this booklet are of course ones that we bring to you through Jamie Rodgers Crafts. So there's a couple of different designs actually of tags, so you can pick the topper that you want to have up here, the kind of design that's at the top there. And we do lots of different sizes in these as well, so if you're looking at that and thinking that's quite a large tag, we go right the way down to about that big. So there are really tiny ones available too, depending on what you want to be doing with them. Any other questions, Peter?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I missed any. There's a lot of comments tonight. Thank you for joining us. Got quite a few of our stockists with us.
That's very nice to see. Thank you for joining us, stockists.
Including that lovely Mandy from Affordable Crafting.
Oh, Mandy was here only the other day.
She was only here last
now,
week,
Mandy, I've got to ask you a question.
Oh,
are you
Mandy.
at work or are you at home? Mandy, and this is the side people don't always see actually, so I'm going to kind of highlight it. I'm sure Mandy wouldn't mind me telling you. A lot of people think that the craft world is an easy one to be a stockist in. It's an easy world to belong in, an easy world to run a craft store, craft website, craft whatever it may be. If I'm honest, I've been in this game 24 years, I think we worked out the other day, something along them lines, lots of years. It used to be. There was a time and a place in a land far away when you could open the doors and people were just flocking and it was all wonderful, and you could kind of sit there with your feet up and think, oh, what am I going to have for dinner this evening? Them days sadly disappeared when the internet came along. And it's a good thing in a sense because, of course, the internet opened up a whole world and you know, there's good and bad. So I'm not just the voice of doom here, but I am the voice of truth when I say to you, like Mandy runs Affordable Crafting, amazing website. She works tirelessly to bring you good prices, great selection of products, as do all of our stockists, obviously. But it is a really hard work. It's not easy. There are so many choices now for people and places to purchase from. It's not always easy to find your place within that market. So Mandy actually also does another job at Tesco. And she works very hard to make sure that her Tesco world and her Affordable Crafting world can coexist to make sure that she can stay open and stay running. Now, I know that I'm sure Mandy wouldn't mind me saying this to you all again. She'd prefer just to run her craft world and enjoy that and play in that world completely. But it's not as easy as that anymore. So she is one of our stockists, like many of them in fairness, that kind of has to juggle 2 jobs on multiple things to make sure that they can stay open and bring in new product. And I think sometimes we forget that, we miss that, we don't always hear of that. We just see a flashy website and think, oh, amazing. There's always a person behind that website, whatever size company. And the other day it was lovely to see Mandy, talk to Mandy, kind of get to know Mandy a bit more and hear kind of how she always is working hard to bring you the best products, the best prices, like all of our stockists do, to make sure that you've got the best choices. So here we are. I believe it was Kim who asked, wasn't it? So this is the size square, and it literally does touch side to side if we'd built this square canvas, just so you can see exactly what we're chatting about. If we fold those back, we are touching each side. So I think your question was, is it the right size to layer on it? I suppose technically, yes, it will layer on it, but you're not going to get an edge to it. So you might prefer to use the neck sizes down. I hope that helps. I hope. If it doesn't and I've gone off on the wrong tangent, then please don't hesitate to let me know. If there are no more questions, Pete, we'll have a go at making this card, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Did you see how I like checked in with you like the director?
I know.
I know.
Mandy was at work at 5:30 this morning.
See, this is the side,
and there at a petrol pump, wasn't she, bless her?
Yeah, and it's kind of the side that people don't always know. And you know, I'm sure if we were to chat to a lot of our stockists today, maybe they do just do the one job as such. Maybe they're not also at the petrol pump at 5 in the morning. But I bet you they will have been working hard somewhere to make sure that them doors stay open, or them tills keep ringing, or that them websites are still there tomorrow, because it isn't an easy job. It's not as simple as it once was. Or maybe it is and we've got it wrong, Pete, but I don't see it.
Quite possibly.
I think it is. But it's a good world, and we do it because we love it, and I think that's the biggest part of it. Across the board, whether you're talking to us as designers and wholesalers, or whether you're talking to the stockists, we all do it because we love craft. I don't think we have a single stockist that I could go, oh, they're here for the money. They're here because they think craft is where the money is at the moment. Like you get people who pop up selling toys or vapes or whatever because they don't really care about the product. They care about the potential income from it. I don't think I could feel that a single one of our stockists is here for the money. They're here for the love of craft. And
Absolutely.
I think that's a different game, and that's what craft's all about, isn't it? Okay, so enough waffling from me this evening. Can you tell I'm tired? You get all of the waffles when I'm tired, all of the confessions. So onto this card, we have added in our lovely watch, which of course is just one of the pages from in the booklet. And then we're going to carry on yo-yoing through these, all coordinating through. So that's a 6x6 directly out of the book. Then we're going to coordinate that off to one side. I've gone for some gold mirror card because I really wanted to pick up the goldness that is found within the imagery, and even the gold tones, the brownie tones, which are running through the splodges of this kind of lovely background. I've teamed this with the ceramic blue. So this, of course, is the foundations card. So our gold mirror card and our ceramic blue are coming hand in hand together to run through this project. We're going to add that one onto the top there, and we've made our little Z fold, which of course could have gone in the opposite direction, and instead of being a Z fold, could have become an easel, could have been a reverse easel, could have been a standard easel. The choice really is yours, but my papers are cut with the writing going this way, so we're going to stick with what we'd created. And I don't really want to cover up that lovely clock image, but of course we could have changed that too if we wanted. But we're happy with this, we're going to go with it as it is. So I've then taken one of the sheets from in the paper pad and I've cut it out using the large panel die. Now, just like before, we would take this, we would fold against that first score line, we would fold against the next score line, and we will continue to do so as we go round it. Now, I would like to hope, will burnish these creases using a bone folder and make sure that they are nice and in place. But for speed, I'm just going to do mine with my fingers. They're really nice and set. Even on this 250 GSM, they're nice and strong joins, and we should get a nice square panel regardless. But of course, if we do burnish them, we're going to get even more structure and strength to each of those creases. Then we're going to take the tabs and we're going to fold those. All we're then going to do is add glue to these and start building this up. And you might actually appreciate seeing one being built properly. So I'll see if I can bring in my glue gun, which is kind of on an odd place today. So it's a bit of a party trick to see if we can get this in the area to do, but we'll give it a whirl. Pete is adjusting the lead. I don't know why I haven't bought him a cordless one. I've got a cordless one. I should have used that. But we're going to add our glue onto them tabs. And then we're going to go for the top ones as well. And just add these into place. So everything is marked out for you. You don't have to do any measuring, any hard work. Everything folds into place and glues down. And we're just going to work all the way around this to complete this. Now, if you don't like using a glue gun, not everybody loves a glue gun. Some people don't like the strings. Some people don't like the idea of getting burned. I get it, don't worry, you don't have to use a glue gun. Wet glue is your friend, red liner tape is your friend. Whatever your medium is that you like to glue with, work with it, give it a whirl, you'll be fine. The tabs are just in place, they're ready for you. I'm using a glue gun because it dries quickly, it's pretty instant, and I can then carry on with the next part of the demo, and you don't have to watch glue dry. But it's up to you and how you like to work. Once your canvas is built, then it's over to you on how you wish to attach it to your project and what you wish to do with it. Here's one I have already made earlier. You might choose to, of course, build them together. You could glue them together. You could make up bigger structures with them. You could, of course, also glue them together in that format too. Turn them into little boxes with hinges. When we've built up these inserts, you don't even have to do that. You could have glued them down on the insides and actually had that as an open tray instead. When I say options and when I waffle about all these different ideas, it's because there are so many endless ways in which you can build these, create with them and go off on different tangents. And again, not one size fits all, it is down to what you wish to be doing with them. On the inside of these, I like to build up my foam tape. So I've brought in our 2mm foam tape and I've layered 3 pieces together in 2 lines to make the perfect structure for the inside of the box. Each of the sides to our canvases is 7mm. So these walls are 7mm and that part there is 7mm. And it means that if we layer our 3 pieces of foam tape together, we're up to 6mm for the foam tape in the centre, and it gives that box structure. It gives it security. So if you're posting these and you're worried that it's a box and it's going to get crushed, do not fear. That foam tape is going to give it the spring it needs to keep its body in place. You don't have to do that if you know that the card isn't going to go through the post, or maybe you're doing it on a page, or maybe you're going to frame it. It's not vital. You do not have to do that. But it is just, for me, nice to know that whatever I create is going to stand the test of time. Then all we're going to do is bring in some of the components. These are the pieces that are on those extra sheets, those cover sheets for running throughout the different books. So I've used that little black line, I've cut round them, and now we're going to add these on as additions running throughout the pages of this little card. So we've got our lovely violin on the outside, we've got a little teacup on the inside, and then we're going to bring in our little butterfly and we're going to add that to the side of the fob watch. And we're just going to 3D that slightly, just so there is just a small amount of life going on with that butterfly, a little bit of dimension. And that completes card number 1. Now, if we don't have any more questions about it, or any questions at all, we'll move on and we'll see if we can fit in another cheeky one before we hustle off to the next one.
Just a quick one from Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hello, Mary.
I think you possibly did mention this. I was half listening, as I do.
Half listening, how rude.
I think I'm paying attention to my lovely view. She says, are you using the clock image on the Flowers Melody, the 12-inch or 8-inch pad?
The 6.
Which one are you using to demonstrate on the card you're using?
The 6.
There we go, Mary.
Yeah, so this is literally the page directly from the 6-inch pad. I'll show you on the 8, so you can see you could, of course, increase it. You could trim it down a bit, but that is a little bit larger than I've gone for. And then the 12x12 one is, of course, the next size up, so quite a lot larger. So it's just down to how much of it you wish to use and how much you wish to hone in on. But I went for the one from the 6x6 because I thought that was quite a nice size. It's also nice to show you can use the pages directly from the booklets. You don't have to trim them about if you don't wish to. Some people get a bit nervy, don't they, when it comes to kind of matting and layering and getting it all equal. And especially when we're cutting down images, not just cardstock, am I going to get equal amounts off of each side, for instance? So actually having it direct out of the page and ready to go is a really lovely way to use it too.
Mary did also say that if you use maybe a bit of Vaseline, or put your glue sticks on the end of your glue gun, or put your glue sticks in the freezer, that prevents stringy bits.
I've heard all of the others, but I've never heard glue sticks in the freezer. That's a new one on me, Mary. I might have to give that a go. I say I'm going to give it a go. I don't do any of the other tricks either. I just don't mind the stringy bits. He normally steals things from my kitchen. He doesn't add Well, I might have to steal the freezer.
Mary's
encouraged that I need to steal the freezer and bring it to work so that I can keep my glue sticks in it.
Oh, I don't think Mary said that. It might be a
built-in freezer, but, you know, Mary said, Pete.
You'll put it on your back like a little rucksack.
I'm not a turtle.
Jamie,
why am I carrying it on my back?
To the warehouse. With his little candy, little beako on his back.
I don't know if that's advisable. I think we might have to call in a team. Our freezer is up like 2 flights of stairs as well, so I don't know if we're a big flight of stairs.
That could be your workout, couldn't it?
Oh, okay, I'd be dead. Couldn't work, man. It'd murder me. Get at the bottom, like a little tail under the freezer. Dead.
Mary says lol.
Lol. Lol at the idea of me carking it under the freezer. That's about right. Any other questions, Pete?
No, I don't think so.
No?
She does say she wants a photo of you carrying a freezer now.
I don't think that's going to happen unless our friend AI gets involved.
I was going to say AI, I'm going to...
We might have to AI.
Gives me an idea.
That.
I'll get your nephew Daniel onto that one.
That makes us sound really old, doesn't it?
It does.
We need Daniel, the 20-something, to help us with AI to give us a picture of me carrying a freezer. I think actually if we had to make the AI image, it'd probably be easier for me to weightlift and be able to lift up the freezer than to actually try and work out how to use the technology to fake the picture, wouldn't it? We're not very good at technology, are we? Okay, so if we've got a chance, we'll go on to demo number 2. Don't hesitate to ask questions if you wish to at any stage, and then I can moan at Peter if he doesn't read them out. So this is card number 2 that we're going to do, and this one really is bringing together lots of the elements from in our lovely paper pads once again, and it yo-yos through the sizes. So there's lots of different sizes from the different paper pads, all under the old Mariner collection. Now what I haven't told you, I've been naughty, I do this, I forget, we're going to let you win the cards I've made this evening. We're going to send them out to somebody somewhere in the world because that's what we like to do. So if you would like to win this evening's cards, it's usually at this stage each week we ask you a daft question and then make you partake in it, mostly so we can join in the chat with you and find out a little bit more about you all. But this evening we thought we'd keep it really, really simple. All we want you to do is comment the word win, and Pete is going to pick one winner to win the cards. So comment the word win just once. We don't want several hundred of them, please, because he's going to have to keep track of them and pick one out. But comment the word win and Pete will pick a winner to send these out somewhere in the world at the end of the live. Okay, so on to our card. Shall I give you a measurement of this? That might not be a bad idea. So card size wise, we are looking at a card that's 8.5 inches by approximately 5 3/4. This is one I've cut down myself, but of course you could cut this down to whatever size you may want it to be. Especially this style of card, it really could be whatever proportions you wish for it to, in honesty. But we're going to bring in a piece of our dark denim, we're going to place that on, and we're going to bring in the waves. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here, and this is always dangerous, but I'm going to say the waves are from the 8x8 pad. So let's have a little look and see if I'm right on that, because I don't want to send you off on the wrong tangent. Oh, I think I'm right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so the waves are from the 8x8 pad, to give you a size on that one. And then we're going to move on up to our next level, and we're going to use one of these. And I think this is from the 8x8 as well, if I remember rightly. But we're going to go for one of the papers with a little bit of floral at the top, then that lovely script running throughout it. And we're going to place this down into roughly the centre of our ocean, centre of where we were. Now, for our frame, we're going to do something slightly different, and I've called it a frame this time because we're not going to use it as a canvas. We're not going to build it in that same sense. What we're going to do is we're going to bring back in our mats. We're going to place these down, and we'll go for, let's go for the big one because it's going to be easier. We'll go for the big one to show you and tell you what I'm up to. So we're going to go for the large panel. Now this one again, it comes with multiple sizes of frame, so we can pick or layer in die, nesting die, aperture die, whatever we wish to call them. We can pick which size we wish to go with. So I'm not going to go for the largest, we're going to go for the next size down, and we're going to place that in the middle. On the original one, I did go for the largest, but it's going to be nice for you to see the differences. And then we're going to pick a piece of card, and for ease, we'll go for a piece of our bright white card. This, of course, is our Polar White 300 GSM under the Elite card range by jamierodgerscrafts. And we'll send that through. So just like before, that is going to cut for us. It's going to do all those score lines for us. It's going to cut our tabs for us. But this time we're going to have that jolly great hole in the middle of it, so it's actually a frame instead of a canvas. And this again opens up a whole world of opportunity because it means that we can use it as a proper frame. We can of course print our pictures, we can put them onto the inside of it. It also means that we could have used the other size, or the next size up. If I bring that back, we could use this size, which we still can. I say if we had of, we still can. If we use this one and we cut out a piece of acetate, The acetate can then be glued onto the inside of that frame, and then what we've created is the perfect little glassed frame, little box frame that we could turn into a shaker instead, because that window, that aperture, would then be covered with something transparent, giving us that ability to turn that into a little shaker box instead. When we launched these a few years back, I actually did some of these in some of the smaller shapes, especially I can remember doing it with a hexagon, and did 2 of them, put them back to back, put a ribbon in the middle of it, and turn them into hanging Christmas tree decorations. So there's lots of scope for these. If you do turn them into shaker boxes, do turn them into different things, there's no reason why you can't take them off on different tangents. It doesn't, again, have to just be about cards. It can be lots and lots of different things if that's what you want them to be. This really is one of those moments in life. They're kind of like the Legos of crafting, really, because you can construct these in whatever way and shape and form you want to, and the only limitation is your imagination, which I think is a tagline for something else I'm probably going to get sued for saying, but it sounded too good to be one I've come up with. Is that a tagline to something? Your only limitation is your own imagination?
I think it is, but I can't think what it is.
Who's going to sue us this week, Pete? Come on.
It makes it sound
Get
like someone
Googling.
already has.
Well, a couple have tried, haven't they? Let's be honest. But none have got very far. We haven't yet had our day out in court. One day, I'm sure. Okay. Nice to get a day out. Might get a bit of cake. Okay, so we're just going to carry on. And again, burnish yours with a bone folder. Don't do as I'm doing. You know, this is one of them times where I say to you, don't really watch me too closely. This is just for speed. I'm going to show you once again what we're doing. But we're folding in those tabs, and then we would glue that right the way around, and we have made our little box with its aperture ready to be turned into that frame or that shaker box, whatever you may wish for it to be. You don't want to watch me glue it again. Exactly the same as last time. Glue the tabs, glue the tops, job done. But so we'll bring this back in, and we'll bring in our ready done version. So this is with the small rectangle. So that was it cut out, ready to be built. This is one I've already built for speed. Once we've got to this stage, we're going to have a little look at what we're going to be doing with this. So we're going to go for one of our images, and we're going to go back to, I believe, the 8x8 pad. It's hard for me to remember, I'm sorry, but you go through all of these bits and pieces so quickly. Having all of the pads really is the win. That's where you want to be, because it gives you everything in every size and scope. Because for this frame, you can see that that's going to be the perfect image to fit within it. Had I only gone for the 6x6 and we go to the same image, might fit, we might be happy with it, but we're not going to have that same edge. We're going to get to see that cream line running around the top and the bottom, and actually if we look to the one beside it, we can see that they're not the same kind of dimensions of a rectangle. So however we frame that, it's not going to quite work in the same way. If we go up to the next size, we can choose where we trim that to be so that it can be the right size rectangle. So having all sizes of pads to me is a real bonus. So what I'm going to do here is I've already glued this flat. So I'm going to take my picture and I'm going to post it within the frame, he says, hoping this is as easy as it sounds. We're going to post that down inside our little box. We could have added this in before we glued it, and that would have been easier, but that wouldn't have created the illusion of what we were doing. So we'll see if we can just trick this in. Sorry for me disappearing, I will be back. There we go. And that is in our box perfectly. We're then going to push it down on the front there, and we're going to come into it with our glue. And I've just done it this way round, so I'm not using something covered in glue and then trying to get it in place. But we're just going to run our glue around the inside of the frame on that back of the picture where we know that we can then turn this over. We can then apply a little bit of pressure around the edge there and know that that's going to grab onto where we need it to and make that our perfectly framed picture. As I say, we could have done it before we glued it. That might have been slightly easier, but all roads kind of lead to Rome. We're then going to go into this little bit. Now this is actually the picture just close to here. This is from our gentleman there, and I've taken this part off and I've cut around it so that I've got just the same size pictures that I want to go across the front of the box. And we're going to do the same again. We're going to add some glue across the bottom here. And then because I know that that's fine and I've got the base done, we're going to go up the sides so I don't put too much glue in areas I don't need to. And then we're going to bring this over and we're going to attach it to the front of that box just to create a bit of depth. Again, we could put acetate into the front of this. This could be a little shaker box if we wanted it to be. It could have more decorations within it. We could have done a drop frame inside it. So lots of ways in which we could have built that up. We're then going to bring that into our card and we're going to say, well, actually, we kind of feel that we're going to go around there for this. So we now need some other elements. Now, don't fear. I always think it's very boring to watch people cut bits out. So I've already gone ahead from a selection of papers. I have trimmed out different bits and bobs to bring in and layer within my image. So we've got cameras, we've got bottles, we've got different imagery pieces. Then all I'm going to do is shape them around a little bit. I'm going to go for the idea that our hot air balloon is going to come kind of out from underneath where our picture is, and it's going to go somewhat up there, roughly. We're then going to work on the theory that that's going to go back in around there, so it's just over the edge of that picture. And then over here we want to go for a little lighthouse, and we're going to do that flat. So we're going to bring in some glue. This of course is our dries clear glue, so I don't have to be too particular with it. And we're going to go up there roughly. And then this little one here, we're going to give that a bit of a shape. Again, if you've got a bone folder to hand, shape it with a bone folder, but I'm quite happy to just give it a squidge. And then we're going to tuck that one coming out from around there. And then we'll check that we're happy with our canvas placement. So because we've got that back into it, I'm not going to add in any foam tape to this one. We're going to go for some glue across that page on the back there. And then we're going to place that in roughly there, checking that we're happy with what we can see coming through from underneath it. And then we've got a little bottle, and we're going to bring in that kind of message in a bottle aspect. And we're going to tuck that just coming out. We might go slightly more diagonally on this one. We've got a little piece of floral spray that we've cut out from another one of the pages, and we're going to tuck that into this corner. Then we've got our lovely big butterfly that we're going to give a little shape to the wings. And this is one of the double-sided ones, so we've got no fear that actually on the reverse you're going to see something that clashes or doesn't match in. And then we've got our little clock and our camera. So I think our camera is going to go back in place just off there. And then this clock element, we're going to bring this in and we're going to add some glue to that one. And we're going to place that, and it's going to stay level because we've got a lot of angles going on here. So we're going to go for the clock being the right way up, in the right kind of place, and we're just going to have that come out of the side there from underneath our hot air balloon, kind of looking like it originated on that paper. And then we're going to bring in our butterfly, and we're going to place our butterfly just off the side here of our camera. And that kind of completes our built up little artistic box version, a kind of scrapbooking meets card making eclectic kind of look, which is very easy to do because again all of your components match, everything coordinates, so you don't really have to worry about going off on too many tangents, putting too much in, layering too much. It all kind of works together. We could have even, and I feel that you'll see this at work, we could have even put in 2 frames, or we could have put in a sideways frame, or we could have put in a square beside it instead, and actually kind of built up lots of different frames on there and added different pictures in throughout them if we prefer to. Any questions about that card, Peter?
Just a couple of questions. One from Jasmine just saying, how would you reinforce the frame?
As I said earlier, it would be more what I'm doing with the card once I've made it. If I'm going to pass it, oh my goodness, sorry Jasmine, I've been distracted. How have you done that? Did you do this?
Maybe.
I'm very impressed, Peter. Mary,
That
there
was
is
from
your image
Mary.
of me carrying a freezer. This is what I have to put up with. You at home think that it's all like professional here. Well, you probably don't, in fairness.
No, I
But
don't
here
think
I
they
am,
do.
desperately trying to address Jasmine's concerns. And what am I met with? Me carrying a fridge freezer. You don't get this at QVC, do you?
You don't. So
No, good reason. So Jasmine, going back to that. Sorry, Jasmine. It would be down to who I was giving the card to and what kind of longevity I wanted the card to have and how I was going to be sending it. And we talk about putting that foam tape in place, thinking if we're going to just put it into a padded envelope, then that's going to give it enough security that, you know, it should be okay. If that's become a problem in your padded envelope, then probably the corners of your card have become a problem. Do you know what I mean? We're kind of working, if that's gone through the postal service and we're happy with it, then that should be okay. With this one, I would probably say I wouldn't worry about reinforcing the box. I would put it in a box so that you know that the box is where your security is going to be. You could, there is quite a recess there, you could strengthen the walls if you wanted with thicker card. You could even put foam tape on the inside of them. Would I bother personally? No. I would either send it in a box because I like making boxes, or I wouldn't send it to somebody. It would be one of the types of cards I would hand over and deliver. But it's not that there isn't a way to do it, it's just I probably wouldn't, but you could if you wanted. You could, of course, go around the outside with thin strips of card as well. And maybe, although that might be like, oh, why would we do that? You could make them quite nice, kind of like patterned, or you could do different sizes, different colours, and then kind of clad the frame to give it a different look. So there are ways, but being honest, I would use that open work because it's a bit more delicate to be for ones I was actually going to hand deliver. I hope that helps. Any other questions or silly images?
No, we have sensible questions, don't we, Mary? We've got another
I didn't blame Mary, just for the record, Mary.
Was it Mary? I might be confusing that you asked for the fridge freezer picture. Anyway, she says, what is the thickest card you would advise for the frames?
Well, I'll go more with what I've cut personally. I've gone up to a 350 and not struggled. This is always, and it's always a tricky question when anyone asks about will a die cut X and Y, because of it can be as much down to what machine you're working with as to what the die can handle. I would genuinely say I'd probably stop at a 350, but then I say that I cut 2 pieces of card quite often that are 300 each, and my machine's okay with that. I use an electronic machine, so I use the Kit and Caboodle Pro Cut. I'll try and get it in screen so you can see the one I'm on about. Please excuse all the tape. It not only is a die cutter, it is a tape storage dispenser, but that machine has a lot of bite to it. Somebody at the door.
No, that's the garage next door.
Sounded like knocking at the door.
Maybe they're after your fridge freezer.
Word might be out that I can carry fridge freezers. They
Little
might want me to go and collect a car.
They might.
Come on, Range Rover.
A little white goods storage unit in here.
Are you going to check the door, or are we just going with the idea that there was no?
There's a car backfiring, I believe, at the garage.
Oh, a car backfiring. We have it all go on here. You never know what's going to happen. So yeah, sorry, we will get back on track. So I would kind of go, if you're going to make one frame, I think 350 would be more than strong enough and more than enough. But there's no reason why you can't go a little bit higher. If you wanted to, give it a try. Your machine will always kind of reject it. If you're asking it to do too much, you'll kick it out. It won't be happy. You shouldn't damage the dies. The dies are very resilient, so it shouldn't be a problem in that sense. But I don't think you're going to want to try and fold it much further or higher than a 350 personally. If you want to ask more, please ask more, and I'll stop waffling. But hopefully that's answered the question for you. Any other questions, Peter?
No, I don't think so. All good.
He's got asleep in the corner, isn't he?
No,
Back
just
when
the
he's trying to
comments.
edit.
Hazel says she's still smiling at the thought of you carrying a cart in a freezer around on your back.
Don't suggest it. He'll have me do it one of these days.
And Charlotte's asking if she's missed the flowers on acetate technique.
No, so I said we'd do that towards the end, and I think it is getting to that stage. So if there are no more paper pad related questions or canvas die questions, I know Charlotte is dying to know how to do her flowers, so we'll have a little look at those as well before we leave you in peace for this evening. Before we go on to the flowers, because I know lots of you have seen them on our previous lives and at demos and bits, I do just want to give you some updates and other bits and bobs I need to tell you about. So bear with me and we'll get to them in a moment. So your paper pads, the Scrapboy paper pads, once again, just in case you're joining us late, you're now going to be able to purchase those from Into Craft, Cheshire Crafts, Julia Watts Crafts, Affordable Crafting, Gilly's Crafts and Craft Mania, and of course some are still available from Hobby Maker as well. Our winner for last week's competition was of course Deborah Wollenscroft, but it does mean that now February is over and we've crowned Deborah our winner. We now need to be thinking about March's competition, don't we? So in March, our new mission for you is to get creative, get messy and get playing with our Crafty Concoctions brand of goodies. Now I say get messy, get creative, you don't have to. There is, of course, glitter that can be used just as glitter. There is texture paste that can be used just as texture paste. There are inks that can be used just as inks. Nothing has to be messy unless you want it to be. I'm in my happiest when I'm covered in colours, and that's my happy place. It's not for everybody, and this brand kind of caters everything for you in every way and shape and possibility. So it can be as clean as you want it to be, or as messy as you want it to be. But whatever it is you're doing with the Crafty Concoctions world, we would like to see it. So if you can share it for us on the Creative Expressions official group using #March, we would like to see what you've been creating. Now, please make sure to add a description. It's so much easier, especially with the Crafty Concoctions world. If you mix this with that, with 3 different colours of ink, imagine being the admin for that page and trying to reverse work out what you did if you don't tell us. And somebody somewhere will ask. So please help us out. Please help us out and give us just a little description. It doesn't have to be War and Peace. It can literally be the colour names or the product names of what you've been using, but we would really appreciate it if you can put that onto your descriptions for us, please. And even if it is just 1 colour of glitter, that would just be really handy to be told I've used the Crafty Concoctions glitters, because it will just make it easier for us to find out what it is if somebody does ask. So please help us out with that. The competition is, of course, open to the 31st of March. We will then announce the winner on the first Monday Night Natter or live after that event. And whoever wins will once again receive a £75 goodie bag worth of goodies from Creative Expressions, with little bits and bobs from all of the brands in which we have available at that time. So please do enter, please do share, and please do enter and share as many times as you would like to. There is no limit to this, and it is not a talent competition. So do not fear that your work is not good enough or what you've created is not good enough. I know we all do that to ourselves, but you don't have to. This is all about taking part, being inspiring and inspiring other people, because that's really what that whole community is about that we're trying to build on the Creative Expressions page. It's about you just being at home and sharing with us what you've been up to. So please don't be shy. Please do join in and share as many times as you would like. And of course, ask questions too, because that's what it's all about. Okay, and then the last thing I need to tell you about before we move on to playing with Crafty Concoctions and giving you a little bit of inspiration with it is, of course, this week's die of the week. Now, this week we are playing with one of Sue's amazing dies. We are looking at the Slimline collection in a scalloped rectangle aperture trio. That's a mouthful, isn't it? And it's a mouthful for a reason, because it's a fab die. It can be used in multiple directions. This is one of the ones I like using for gatefold cards. Laura on our design team is great at putting different characters and bits and bobs into it. Honestly, everyone loves this die. It is one we bring you lots and lots of inspiration with. The recommended retail price for this is £16.99. But as always, when we chat die of the week, we have given our stockists a little cheeky saving on it that they may choose to pass on to you. So have a little look around, because you might be able to find it with as much off as 20%. Your code number for this one is CD1263. And I'm just going to bring in a couple of cards here, because I'm not supposed to share everything with you. I'm going to share a couple, sharing with you how you can multi-cut it, you can build up on top of it. You can, of course, cut it in. You can use it with our outer scallops as well. And, of course, you can use it with our slimline dies to create different effects. Here is another one that I absolutely love, where Laura has brought in the panda stamp from Woodware and added elements to it. This one here by Laura, oh, this one's also by Laura. Laura's brought in the little angels from Sue and added those into the apertures instead. And then another one here, going back to Woodware, bringing in some of Norman's little farmyard pieces, the tractor, the windmills, the fences, all of them bits and bobs, and popping them together within the apertures too. So I'm not going to show you every single card, but keep an eye out every morning at 9 AM on the Creative Expressions page, where we'll share fresh inspiration with you from this die set. That's what we do here with Die of the Week. It's our chance to really hone in on one particular die for that week and share fresh inspiration every day at 9 AM. So, Charlotte popped to one of our recent demo days and was very inspired to make these flowers, and then went home, as we all do, and promptly forgot how to do them. So last week I promised I would show you on our live, but sadly I wasn't very well. I'm sorry about that. You wouldn't have have wanted me here. It wasn't good. But I did say that we would, of course, pick it up as soon as we can. So this evening, we will have a little look on how to make these as well. Now, I cannot claim that this is my technique at all. I was introduced to it by Julia Watts, actually, technically. I went for a training day at Creative Expressions. It was the very first thing I did. When we was asked if we would like to come work for them, and I'm talking, there was me and there was Gwen for a start off, and Tamara, and we all went down for the day. I think it was just us three, memory like a sieve, but it was just us three and Julia. And we sat in the little workroom at Creative Expressions, and Julia was amazing. And I'm not only saying this because she was here this evening, she's probably way gone by now, but she was amazing. She sat there and we went through all of these products and she gave us all of these tips and all of these ideas. And I can remember she kind of was like, everybody else had gotten really mixy and was creating all of these incredible things. So she was like, Jamie, you need to mix things. You've not mixed enough. And it was so fun to actually kind of have that permission given to get more creative and mix things, because you kind of forget that sometimes, don't you? And I'm guilty of it. You know, we've gone on to build a whole Crafty Concoctions brand about mixing and creating and making new things. But sometimes we all forget that we can do that and we have permission to do it. So this is one of the techniques that I believe that Julia shared with us on that day, but I feel it might have originated from Sue herself, but it's always very hard to lay claim to a technique or an idea because there's so many incredible creatives in the world now, isn't it? It's hard to know where every single idea comes from, but I'm going to share it with you because it's one of my favourites too. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of acetate and we're going to lay that onto a tray. You don't have to work on a tray, but to me it's cleaner. So I'm going to place it down on the tray and I'm going to bring in a different body, a different medium to add on to the acetate. And we're doing this because if we was to add products onto the acetate normally, they wouldn't settle, they would just rub off afterwards. They're water-based, they're not going to stick there, they're not going to stay in play, they're just going to come away. So we've got a few choices. We could bring in a clear texture paste like this one here, for instance. This is our Jamie Rodgers Crafts clear texture paste, but it's exactly the same texture paste as our Crafty Concoctions texture paste. It's just a different label on the jar. We admit that, we tell you that. We did Jamie Rodgers Crafts texture paste way before we ever imagined we would go on to do the Crafty Concoctions product range. So that when we did that, we kind of said, actually, this is one of the essential mediums we need to carry on to the new brand. So we now have it available in the new brand and the old brand. And we're just going to smooth this out across the acetate. And as I say, this is just our body. It's going to be holding in place the mediums we add on top of it. Over this side of the acetate, I haven't covered that yet. Shall we bring in a different body? Shall we bring in a different medium? Something else we can add some colour onto. So I am scraping the barrel of this one, but we're going to bring in a pillion paste in Opti Gold. Now you can see I've been using this because it's got a little bit of blue in it as well. And I don't know if I'm going to have enough in this jar to fill the area that I wanted to. But I am not worried because of what we can do is dilute it down. So we're going to take some of that, we're going to spread it out a little bit. And to save sending Challenge Annika out into the warehouse to find me another one, we are going to bring in, if I can get the lid off, God, I don't think I could carry a freezer. I can't even unscrew the lid. What am I like? We're going to bring in some micro granite paste in white. So this is the white shards. This is a clear medium with a white shard running through it, and that white shard is basically like a grain of sand, if you will. And we're going to mix the two together. So I'm purposely working back over that Apillion Gold because I don't want it to be too goldy and I don't want it to be too whitey. So we're going to mix the two together live on the acetate. We're going to extend that out. Now, had I not got this white shard here with me, we could have dug back into the clear. There is no right or wrong with this. This is about using what you have to hand and being brave enough to mix it and match it. And of course, you might already have products that you've got at home that you're going to use with this concoction as well. It doesn't just have to be about the Crafty Concoction world. So we'll go back to the clear one and we'll infill that gap, just so we can make sure that there's no big chunks of area in between the two that we haven't covered. And again, we can blend that across the top slightly. Not worried if we muddy it. I'm just trying to show you how we can play around with different mediums to do this effect with. We could also do this with our glue as well. So if you've got the Jamie Rodgers Dries Clear Glue, you can place that out onto this acetate. You can mist it with water because it's water-based and then spread it around with your finger or a paintbrush and do exactly the same technique. So when I talk to you about the different products, and say to you, you don't have to use the ones we're bringing you. You really don't have to. You may already have a clear drying glue in your collection already that would work just fine. We're then going to go on to our Chroma inks. So these are mightyful inks. These are a highly pigmented ink that comes to us in these little dropper bottles that we can take on and we can just spread across here. Now we can put these into misters and dilute them down to make our very own coloured misters. We can put them out onto wet wipes and turn them into ink pads. We can mix them in a paint palette and turn them into our very own watercolour paint. And we can of course mix them into things like our texture pastes to make brand new colours of those as well. So I've used the reactant plum and the molecular rose so far. Let's see if we can find a blue. I do like a bit of blue, so let's go for the cobalt compound. And we're just going to yo-yo this one through this mix as well. And we don't have to be particular in any format. Now at this stage we can stop. We can say, do you know what, one extra product is enough. We're going to mix that up in a second. We can say that's enough. Or we can say we're going to add in more. Or we can say we can add in more in a minute. There's all these choices and there's no rights or wrongs. For me, I'm going to say I'm going to mix this to begin with. So I'm going to mix through them and I'm going to try and do this so I don't muddy it. I don't want to muddy it up too much. I'm trying not to carry the gold too far into the clear because I want you to see the difference. That's gone a bit too blue, so we might move that over slightly. Might try and pick out a bit more of that red. We can always blot some off as well. Don't be afraid to take away. If you've got too much, take some away. Not the end of the world. And everything we're working with is water-based, so it can all be diluted down if we prefer. When you're happy with what you've created, this is the stage in which we can say we're going to stop adding to it, and we can say that we're going to leave it be. But I'm not yet happy. I'm never happy unless there's a bit of sparkle involved. So let's see if we can find some of our atomic glitters. So these, of course, are the ones that come to us again from the Crafty Concoctions range. And we're going to go for Colloidal Violet. And we're going to pick this out and we're going to sprinkle it across the top like you would if you was adding lots of salt to your dinner really unhealthily. I'm going to sprinkle that right over there. Now, can you see how beautiful this glitter is looking, going for all those purple and blue tones that we've added down in our texture paste? Doesn't that look yummy? And we're going to sprinkle more of that because I really like that one. Getting a bit carried away, so we're going to add more. Then we're going to look for a bit of a bolder colour. So we're going to go to Reactive Flora, and we're going to see this one. This one's one of our colour changing ones. So I don't know how well you'll see it in the light, but there are two different shades coming through in that. Now with each of these, you'll find multiple size particles of glitter, and that's really important because it means the light's going to hit them in different directions and give different effects. And the kind of course, having different size particles means that we infill different areas beautifully. So we'll sprinkle those across the top. I think we've got enough of the chunky glitters. We could say, which could be quite nice, that we'll go in for some of the fine glitter. So this one's our Jamie Rodgers Crafts glitter. This is the gemstones, and this is the Heliodor, which is our lovely, beautiful gold. And we're going to sprinkle this one from slightly higher because we don't want it too full on, but we just want to add in a little gold sprinkling. I love working with gold. Mirror card, we've got that Opti gold coming through on one side of this. So adding on a small smidge of gold in other areas certainly isn't going to hurt what we're creating. At this stage, we're going to do the core element of the core in crystal. And this is how I try and remind people to remember it. If you imagine that so far we've taken our acetate, we've put on our colour, in my mind we've made our crystal. Now we need to catch it. We need to make sure it's caught. It's called caught in crystal. We need to catch it, make it caught. So we're going to bring in some tissue paper. And you can use tissue paper, you can use crepe paper, you can use any napkin kind of papers that you want to really. The choice is yours. But tissue paper is the one I was trained with, and that's the one we're going to work with. And then you're going to use it, you're going to scrunch it up into a little bowl, and then you're going to pick the area in which you wish to work with, and you're going to cover it. Now it's best if you can do this in one piece, but I seem to have little scraps, so I think we might do a couple. But it's not the end of the world, no one's going to see it. So we're going to take this part, we're then going to take another part, we're going to do exactly the same again, and patch over the other side. Scrunch it, crinkle it, bring it in and lay it down. Now at any stage, if you're somebody who doesn't like getting messy and you're starting to see my fingers get coloured, and like when we start to push down on this, if you're worried about pushing down on it, then of course you don't have to do this with your finger. You can do it with a paintbrush, you can even do it with a brayer if you want to smooth it out. But these wrinkles and crinkles These are going to give you a beautiful effect when they're complete. And this little double lap, we can always remove that double lap in a moment, or we can add something in there to glue it down. But I'm happy with it as it is because I know where I'm going with this, and I'm not worried that that's in place because this sheet isn't going to be used in its entirety even when it's dry. So then we would leave this to set. Now, of course, one of the number one questions whenever we talk about a technique like this is how long is it going to take to dry? Well, this is one of those how long's a piece of string questions, in my opinion, because it depends on how much texture paste we've put in there, how much liquid we've put in there with our inks, how much glitter we've put in there that's going to absorb it, what type of paper we've put on top of it. All of them variables are going to change the answer of how long it takes to dry. Not to mention the temperature of your room. I remember one summer I was doing these for a show, and the conservatory was like an oven, and I literally was sort of creating them and laying them in the conservatory, and by the time I'd laid them in and gone back and made the next one, the first one was dry, so I could take it out and then do the next one. So it really is a kind of suck it and see kind of answer, to be honest with you. But if I was to leave this to one side as is, I would expect in about 2 hours I'd probably be able to work with it. But it really does depend. The acetate I'm working on is a heat resistant one, so if I do pick it up and I can see there's a couple of pools that are a bit wet, I could give it a little bit of a blast with some heat to set them. But like most things, if we can leave it to naturally dry, that's better if we can. Now, of course, when you're doing this at home, you're going to want to pick it up and look at what you've created. But actually, it's better if we leave it in place, because if then we're not going to get fingerprints in it, we're not going to get movement in it. None of them pools are going to start to move around. But you've just watched me create this. You want to see what we've done. If I flip this over, you can start to see it already. So this side, of course, is where we had our OptiGold. So it looks very white on my screen, but if I give it a little shimmer through the light, I don't mind getting messy, do not fear, we'll give that a little wiggle. Can you see all of that beautiful OptiGold running through that panel? Then over this side, this was the side that we did the clear, but we added a bit more glitter, didn't we? So you might see more glitter shining through on this side, more of that kind of crystallized effect. So it's down to you what product you wish to use, what medium you wish to use, what colours you wish to use, what glitters you wish to add into it. And I say glitters, it could be that you sprinkle in some gilding flakes. It could be that you use some of our metallic reinkers instead of our Chromolab inks. It could be that you even take gilding flakes and break those up into little particles and add those throughout it instead. Everything can be thrown in, including the kitchen sink. So play and see what you can create, because there really is no right or wrong to this. If you've got a pot of something on your shelf and you're wondering, can I throw it in? 9 out of 10 times I would say yes, give it a try and see what you think. And if you don't like it, the worst you've lost is a sheet of acetate. Now, one of the big questions we tend to get is, once it's set, that paper you put on the back, can I take it off? Don't go taking it off. Leave it in place. Because if you do try and remove it, and let me show you, what will happen is the colour will come away on the paper. So we end up with really lovely coloured tissue paper and relatively transparent acetate once again. But if you leave it in place, this is what you can create. And you know all of them creases that we had, them wrinkles that was in that tissue paper? This is why we quite like the wrinkles, because it adds in all of this vein, all of this pattern that runs through these sheets. And then once your sheets are dry, and you've got variant ones here that we did at the demo day recently, so you're going to see the OptiGold running through the middle here. This side has got the clear shard on it. This side was done with the clear paste. So there's different textures and looks throughout that panel as we give it a little wiggle that you can hopefully see on your screen. But once you have created these sheets, then you can snip off the excess if you've got tissue paper running around the sides of them, or of course you can die cut them. And this is why Charlotte's asking, because if you die cut them, this is with our Cosmos flower die, this is what you can build with them. So these are all just created out of these sheets, die cut with a Cosmos flower die, pinched on each of the petals and built up. And what I love with this is the structure and strength that you get when you've built these flowers out of this, because you've got the strength of the acetate, and this is only our thin Jamie Rodgers Crafts heat resistant acetate. But when you add on the tissue and you add on all of them mediums, this gets quite strong. let alone when you form it and build it. So if you wanted to use these for 3D decorations, again into home decor, maybe even into jewellery perhaps, I don't know, but maybe, you're going to find these are very resilient to what you're creating. And again, very, very, very dimensional. These would look really nice inside a canvas, popping out from in that kind of open tray. That could look really nice, or of course decorated it in between the canvases as well. But that is how you're going to create these flowers. Before we leave you this evening, are there any questions about that technique or how they have come together? Because I would love to answer that for you before we leave you in peace.
No, just a lot of love for the demonstrations. Deborah did ask, she says she loves the Crafty Concoctions inks. Will there be some more different colours in the future?
Oh, Peter, honestly,
I have to ask what our lovely viewers ask.
Questions, do you?
So will there be more
I remember
colours?
when these lives started, you'd filter out anything problematic, and now you just throw me under that bus. Throw me under that fridge while you...
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I know exactly what I mean. Will there be more colours? Honestly, yes. But there'll be a little while yet. But it is something we're testing. We have to, of course, there's no lies to any of this. We have to test everything. We have to get it to where we want it to be. And we're working on new colour shades as we speak. But then we have to order them and we have to wait for them to get here. And that all takes far more time than I wish it would. I really don't understand why I can't just pop over with my hand luggage and pick it all up and bring it home on a weekly basis, and then that way we could do these things much quicker. But we are working on it. It is something that's coming. Maybe there might have to be new additions to that brand as well, because if you know what, we've bought your glitters, we've bought your paste, we've bought your inks, but we're not done there, are we? No. So there'll have to be more as we move through the year, but no soon commitments to that. We're talking later in the year, but there will be more to the Crafty Concoctions world. It's one I enjoy far too much for us to let that stop, really. It's a ball that's kind of started rolling and it's got a very long way to go. There's a lot of products I'd like to see under that, but it's all going to stick to the same ethos. Or if we bring you something within that range, it's got to mix, it's got to make something new. It can't just be a one and done. And there's nothing wrong with a one and done product. We do that in some of our different brands. And they're not even, I say like one and done, they're not one and done. We can still mix them, we can still do different things with them. But it really is with this one, I want the ultimate mixing. I want you to know that yes, you can use them as individual components, but if we can, we're going to do more with them and give you more options and scope to build them. And if you are new to Crafty Concoctions and you don't know already, we even do little recipe cards so that everything you do, you can write it out on a little card and you can remember it and come back to it and recreate it in another time. And then there are even little white and black boxes at the bottom of each card for you to be able to swatch what you've created so you can see what it's going to look like on different colours, just so you've got a record of everything you've done and how that's going to look and how that's going to work for you. And the cards, of course, come blank for you to then add on your recipe, your number, your name, and be able to refer to them time after time. I've got lots of them yo-yoing through here, all just different little sets I've created. And then if you do fall in love with something and you make lots of it, or maybe you get a bit carried away and maybe you need them, we of course have storage jars for you as well. So you mix it, make it, store it in the 6 storage jars, and these are the same jars in which our texture paste comes to you, so you know that they're airtight and they're good to last for a good little while. So if you do want to make a batch of it, maybe you're doing wedding invitations and you know that you've got 100 to make, you can make it up, put it into that, come back to it in a couple of weeks and know it'll be ready and good to go. Or it might even be that you want to take your glitters and mix a few glitters together to make your very own glitter mixes. But we try to cover everything we can within our Crafty Concoctions collection for you. Any other questions, Pete?
Yeah, another one from Sharon, lovely Sharon from LDT.
Sharon.
Question, do you use your metal shim to cut the acetate?
I don't, because of the die I'm using is relatively plain. So actually I don't feel that I need it, and I don't. And again, I'm in a kit and caboodle, so really strong pressure, good quality die, strong pressure, thin acetate, no problem. If I was using thicker acetate, if I was using a manual machine, if the die I was using was more intricate, then yes, I would possibly go for it with a metal shim. But give it a try, see how you go. It's always the best way. The worst you're going to lose is a little bit of acetate, but if you mask your die in place, then even if it hasn't cut through, pop a metal shim on it, send it back through. Any other questions?
And Deborah doesn't mind waiting.
Good, good. They are coming in. They're going to have to, aren't they? We've done 12 colours so far, but you know, there's a lot of colours that we could add. I could confess, actually, our lovely Francoise Reed was up here at HQ last weekend, wasn't she? And she got a bit carried away. There's a video coming, actually. I've just got to edit it and get it put up and put out of her painting in Norma, one of her characters, one of her stamps. And she'd have a little chat with me, and she was like, I think we need some more colours in these, Jamie. I'm going to write you a list. So she's off also compiling a list for me for probably release number 3, in honesty. But there will have to be a couple more releases in that group if I get my way. So we'll see. Any other questions?
That's all good. Mary says the recipe cards are an amazing idea.
Well, I know what it's
Definitely
like.
forget
We
what you
make
did.
these things and then we forget them, don't we? And this is why I feel that it's always good to try and give you these refreshers. So yeah, if you do fall in love with a concoction, it's good to have it wrote down and ready to go next time you need it, because we do forget, don't we? And it's also good as well if you've made a little concoction, you've put it all through your stencil, for instance, and you've got that kind of little blob left. You're like, well, what do I do with this? And I know temptation sometimes is to get rid of it. Don't swatch it. Swatch it, write it down, because I know one day it'll be handy for you to come back to. And again, we often get the question of, what do you do when you've run out of ideas? What do you do? Where do you get your mojo from? Them recipe cards help me out no end, because I pick them out and I'm like, I really like that shade, but actually, can I make that lighter? Can I make that darker? Can I make that, a purple instead of a blue? And of course I can, because I've got all of the inks and bits to do it with. And it kind of G's you on to experiment more and try new things. So yeah, if you haven't found the wonderful world of Crafty Concoctions, then yeah, do dive into it, because it is a fun world. There is a dedicated Facebook page for Crafty Concoctions, and I'd love to see you all on there as well if you're not already. And the DT do an amazing job of bringing you endless inspiration with it. And then of course Emma, videographer. That a word?
That's a big word.
I don't know how tonight.
Probably.
She brings you quite a lot of videos on that page and on the Creative Expressions page and the YouTube channel with lots of crafty concoctions ideas. Can't say concoctions again, but ideas. So do keep an eye out for those, because there's loads coming from them. And I do have a feeling there might be even more videos coming soon to give you more inspiration with that collection too, or that brand too. Before I give away any more secrets,
It's time we say goodnight.
I think it's time to say goodnight. Okay, one last thing to talk about that is coming up is the events for the week. So on Thursday, Gwen will be back here at 7 p.m. for her Thursday night natter. I predict she's going to be rather excited, because it's not many days until her demo day coming up at her shop. I'll tell you more about that in just a second. On Sunday, we have our DT chat, which is at 12 o'clock on the Creative Expressions page, and it is just like a text box chat. It's not a live like this, but one of our DT members will be there. There'll be a few photos, and you'll be able to have a little chit chat with them and pick their brains, ask some questions, find out a little bit more about what inspires them to craft, what they like about crafting, or maybe ask them technique questions too. Whatever it may be, they're there for you to have a little informal chit chat with you all. Then on Monday, I will be back right here at 7 p.m. again. But next week, should we have a sneaky peek? Should we have a brand new collection? A little sneaky peek from the wonderful world of Jamie Rodgers Crafts. Oh, it's a good one. It's a big collection. It's an exciting collection. And everybody who has seen it has told me that they absolutely love it, emphatically love it. I'm hoping you guys are going to say the same. I love it. It's my baby. We'll see what you think to it. But I'm hoping you fall in love with it as much as I have. So next Monday, we'll give you a sneaky peek of that. We will, of course, then tell you that we are on TV with it on Thursday, the 12th of March. So a little bit of pre-warning. I won't tell you the times and bog you down with everything just yet. But Thursday, the 12th of March, we will be on Hobby Maker with that collection. But we'll sneaky peek it on Monday Night Natter. Gwen will be on Thursday, of course, that evening with her Thursday Night Live. That'll be after the shows. So that day, you'll have a busy day. So Thursday, the 12th, make sure you are ready with refreshments. Then Saturday the 14th is Gwen's demo day. Now this is a really important day. If you haven't heard me and Gwen waffle on about it previously or seen it under the event tab, then go and read up about it if you would like to attend, because this isn't just a Creative Expressions demo day. Oh, no. I'm going to be there. Francoise is going to be there. Gwen is going to be there. But it don't end there. Oh no. Sharon Curtis is going to be in the building with Evelyn and Sage, her wonderful journaling world. Carla Bagshaw is going to be there with her cut by hand quilling kits. And Joe Rice will be there with Lavinia. And not only are we all going to be there demoing, doing our thing, chatting the day away with you all, there are also lots of make and takes taking part as well. Now the make and takes are already sold out, but I do happen to hear that Gwen is keeping a backup list, for want of a better term. So if you do wish to attend on any of those, then do let Gwen know, follow the instructions to join the backup list, just in case there are any cancellations. Now you will need tickets to attend the event. I'll let you read all about how and where and the event section, just so I don't tell you anything wrong, because that's always highly likely. If Gwen is with us and you wish to drop us in a link, then please let us know. Gwen, don't be shy, but if you can attend, it would be absolutely lovely to see you. Gwen's store is located in Saddleworth, which is one of the most beautiful parts of the country, in my opinion. Me and Pete absolutely love going up to visit, and I know that not only is she going to have all of us demonstrating in the hall opposite her store, she is also going to have some bits and bobs available there for you to purchase. Pete will also be in the building running the tills, so not that we're keeping it in the family, but we'll be up there to help Gwen and support her on the day, and it'd be lovely for you to pop in and see all of us and say hello. Speaking of demo days and giving you heads up for everything I possibly can before I let you go, on the 28th of March, Gwen will be back on the road, speaking of demo days, and she will be heading down to Craft Bliss in Poole, Dorset for the day from 10 till 4, bringing them brand new inspiration in store. So if you would like to attend that demo day, then that's where Gwen will be on Saturday the 28th of March. Any other news that we can think of before we let them go, Peter? Have I done all of my jobs? I think I have. I think I've ticked all of the boxes on my little sheet without having to use a pen. Do you know what you haven't done?
I haven't announced the winner.
He hasn't, has he? Very naughty. Come on, across to you, independent adjudicator of the evening, to tell us who our winner is today.
Thank you all for joining us on our crazy Monday night. It's been good fun, hasn't it?
I find that very insulting.
Visions of him with a freezer on his back.
You don't have visions, you have photographic evidence thanks to AI. Very bizarre.
Anyway, you don't want to hear any more me going on about silly stuff. Thank you for all your comments saying win. I can announce tonight's winner is... Denise Hawkins. Congratulations, Denise. If you want to drop us an email, jamierodgerscrafts@hotmail.com.
Very, very good.
Is that good?
Very, very official, Peter. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Much more on track than I've been. Okay, all, we're going to love you and leave you, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you again for giving us your time. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for playing along with our silly antics. And thank you for just being as wonderful as you are and supporting our shows and supporting our lives and, of course, enjoying our products as much as we do. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I feel that you'll see us next Monday for our sneaky peek. Don't forget to join Gwen on Thursday for her Thursday night natter. We'll try and be in the comments there too, so we can say good evening to you there. Thanks a lot for now. Bye for now.
Bye. Good night.